Update, brought to you by Simcox Advocates, advising businesses and families since 1949. Visit simcox.com or call 690 300. Manx Radio's Update with Barrie Redfern.
Good evening, it's 5:30. This is Update for Friday the 7th of July from Manx Radio. Tonight, all 20 public authorities are reprimanded over unauthorised access to personal data. Change at Manx Care will take time, says its interim chair. Ramsey's proposed boundary change is called enormous and territorial. And we're all at sea tonight. More on those stories, plus weather, traffic and travel in just a moment.
Man Benham for all your business and legal needs.
Now at 29 minutes to 6, the news headlines from Christian Jones. Faster mine.
The government says closure times for air traffic control to accommodate mandatory rest breaks could be lifted as early as August. The Council of Ministers confirmed it met yesterday with the airport director to seek further reassurances for the shortage currently facing the island's aviation industry. A local estate agent says house prices on islands remain stable, though the market has cooled. It comes as UK house prices are falling at the fastest annual rate in 12 years. And Mark Cavendish sprinted hard towards the end of Stage 7 in the Tour de France, but unfortunately it wasn't enough. He placed second, just metres behind Belgian rider Jasper Philipsen. In international news, the father of Ellie Edwards says he'll do his best to make sure her killer is never released from jail. Connor Chapman is starting at least 48 years behind bars for shooting dead the beautician at a pub on the Wirral on Christmas Eve. Planned strikes by junior doctors in Scotland next week have been suspended following an improved pay offer. Action is still due to take place by members of the British Medical Association in England. And Malmö has been chosen to host Eurovision 2024. It's after Loreen won this year's contest for Sweden for a second time. Those are the Update News headlines, next at 6.
Man Benham. Contact us by phone, video call, email or face-to-face. We're happy to connect with you. Manx Radio Weather with Manx Glass and Glazing.
And tonight will be dry. Tomorrow will be mostly sunny skies, but there'll be a small risk of some isolated showers until about mid-afternoon. And any showers could be heavy and thundery. Fresh southeasterly winds at first, veering south and easing around midday, with the top temperature again about 20 Celsius. Sunday will be dry with sunny spells with light winds and a maximum temperature of 19 Celsius. Sunrise tomorrow at 4 minutes to 5. Sunset today 9:51. Low water today 9:38. High water tomorrow morning 3:41 a.m. Low water tomorrow at 9 minutes past 10.
Visit the Manx Glass and Glazing website and see a range of products from windows to doors, mirrors to splashbacks. manxglass.com.
All 20 public authorities have been issued with a reprimand from the Information Commissioner for unauthorised access to personal data. It relates to a system being used to access data when recording and managing freedom of information requests. Louis Foster reports.
The Commissioner says it's not the usual practice to publish or publicise reprimands, but in this case considers there is a clear public interest in doing so. Essentially, it found there was an infringement of data protection rules, GDPR, with personal information being accessed through the system iCasework. Noted in particular is the extent of the access, the breadth of public authorities affected, including bodies distinct from government, and the purpose for the processing of that personal data, i.e. the fundamental right to request access to information under the Freedom of Information Act 2015. The Commissioner confirmed on the 15th of June that there had been what it called a low-level FOI breach, after which they received queries from individuals asking whether their personal data had been accessed. It's since confirmed an investigation is underway into the unauthorised access by a senior officer in Cabinet Office to personal data in the system. The Cabinet Office is believed to be also undertaking an internal investigation. Between the 1st of April 2022 and the 22nd of March 2023, the senior officer accessed the personal data contained in over 540 FOI requests made to 20 separate public authorities on more than 1,200 occasions. It added the purpose for which the personal data was accessed and further processed is unknown, nor is it known why the breaches went undetected by the system administrator. The Commissioner has given the relevant party until the 28th of July to confirm they're taking action against such occurrences, after which point an enforcement notice will be issued.
You're listening to the Isle of Man's quintessential daily news and current affairs roundup. Update on Manx Radio.
There are things Manx Care can do quicker and should do quicker, but change within a highly regulated environment, such as healthcare, takes time and isn't easy. That's the view of Manx Care's recently appointed interim chair, Sarah Pinch. Speaking to Manx Radio at a recent Manx Care Open Day, she said exciting innovations were taking place, such as a move to the use of telemedicine.
Which would mean instead of travelling across for your outpatient appointment, you could actually come to Nobles if you needed an X-ray or a blood test. That information would be sent across to your specialist doctor, and then you could sit at home in the comfort of your own home, or come into a place at Nobles or perhaps at Ramsey or in your GP surgery and talk to your consultant there. And that would save a lot of money, but actually more importantly, it would save people having to travel. It would reduce the amount of time that someone's having to invest in what really is quite a substantial amount of travel for probably a 20-minute appointment. So I think there are things we can do to work with staff to ease some of that pressure. But it's not easy, and it's not easy anywhere at the moment.
I guess the frustration amongst the staff and the workforce in general, they're aware of the difficulties, they know the background to them. It's the time involved and the length of time from thinking of actions and then implementing them.
Yeah, absolutely. And I spent some time yesterday with two of our senior consultants, and we were sharing that frustration. Change is not easy, and when you're working in a highly regulated environment like health and social care, it isn't quick, and that is frustrating. But in some ways, I think that's a good thing. I'm not sure I'd want a sudden change in how we operated to be implemented tomorrow without due process. But I think there are things we can do quicker, and we should do quicker.
A public consultation has been launched by Ramsey commissioners about a proposed boundary extension because it believes the town is at capacity. However, there's strong opposition from Lezayre and Garth commissioners who've called the extension enormous and territorial. Our local democracy reporter Emma Draper has more.
A proposed boundary extension was started by Ramsey commissioners because they believe the town is at capacity. As part of the proposal, the local authority wants to expand into parts of Lezayre and Garth, which includes Glen Alden and Mackhold. Mirinda Farger, Deputy Chair of Garth Commissioners, says the board will be making everyone aware of the consultation, including residents who live rurally.
So the commissioners have had a couple of meetings with Ramsey commissioners to date, but they do see, although we put forward our views, which were against the boundary extension because we couldn't see any justification at all for it into the Mackle part. It's important for people to realise that they are part of a community and that this land, and to be honest, most of it, well, all of it, it's not land suitable for development.
As part of the criteria for the boundary extension, rates can't be used as a reason for or against the boundary proposal. Community interest and amenities can be used as reasons either for or against the expansion. Ramsey Commissioners says not much would change for residents if this did go ahead. Deputy Chair Rob Cow says the authority doesn't take expanding lightly and these are once-in-a-lifetime events.
It's still very early days. We are now at the start of the process, so the consultation marks the start. People can put their views across. It's very important that people do, and then as the consultation moves further down the line into the public sessions, that data that's fed into the consultation will be drawn out at that session. People who answer to the consultation can then have their comments further widened at the public meetings if they so wish.
Lezayre Commissioners sent a statement to Manx Radio which describes the expansion as enormous and territorial and says there are flaws in the criteria Ramsey Commissioners is using. The commissioners say much of the land Ramsey wants to expand into is agricultural and land which dairy farmers use, which can't be developed. It goes on to state Ramsey commissioners should concentrate on the development of brownfield sites within the town.
Sea Watch with the Isle of Man Steam Packet Company.
And the Ben McCree departed Heysham this afternoon at 2:25. Expected here in Douglas at 6:10. The Manannan departed Douglas at 15:35 this afternoon, due in Liverpool at 18:20. The Manannan then will turn around and head for Douglas. Expected here in Douglas at 10:15, leaving Liverpool at 7:30. And the Ben McCree is departing at 7:45, expected in Heysham at 11:30. And in the morning, or rather overnight, the Ben McCree departing 2:15, expected in Douglas at 6 in the morning.
Follow the Steam Packet on Twitter for the latest sailing information.
And the Isle of Man Steam Packet's new flagship Maxman will be publicly welcomed to her home port on Sunday, this coming Sunday. Here's Siobhan Fletcher.
The new ship completed her 12,000 nautical mile journey from South Korea last Sunday. But this weekend, the public will be invited to watch a live stream via a screen on Douglas Head as the Isle of Man Steam Packet Company's managing director Brian Thompson makes a speech on the quayside before the traditional champagne bottle is broken onto Manxman's bow. The honour of wishing Manxman well will fall to Janice McDowell, Liverpool terminal manager and employee of the company for over 20 years. Whilst the Manxman was built to replace the Ben McCree on the Heysham freight route, on the completion of the new Liverpool terminal, Manxman will make weekend visits in the winter. A small group of VIP guests, including the Chief Minister, Treasury Minister, Board and Executive of the Isle of Man Steam Packet Company, and representatives of Hyundai Heavy Industries, will be invited for a private tour of the vessel and to meet the captain. The public will also be able to watch presentations broadcast from the car deck explaining the history of the project, the delivery voyage from Korea to Southampton, and an insight into the art commissioned for the boat. At around 10:30pm, Manxman will steam out into the bay for a fireworks display. Sunday will also see the release of details on how to enter a draw to win tickets for Manxman's maiden service voyage, scheduled for later in the month.
Manx Radio Business Briefing.
The OSB Group slumped after it warned of an adverse effective interest rate, or EIR, adjustment of around £160 million to £180 million in the first half of this year on an underlying basis. It said this was due to a reduction in the expected time spent on the reversion rate by Precise Mortgages customers. House prices in the UK have fallen at their fastest rate in 12 years, according to the Halifax, while mortgage rates continue to rise. The High Street lender said the annual fall of 2.6% was equal to around £7,500 being wiped off the average UK house price, the biggest drop since 2011. But here on the Isle of Man, according to one estate agent, house prices remain stable, though the market has cooled.
The Stock Market Report, brought to you by Ramsey Crookall.
The UK and European equity markets were mixed following sharp drops in the previous session. The dollar fell after data showed US job growth was lower than expected, but still strong enough to likely lead the Federal Reserve to resume raising interest rates later this month. Oil prices rose and were on track for their second straight weekly gain after a larger-than-expected fall in US oil stockpiles. Gold extended gains after a weaker US non-farm payrolls numbers cast doubts over the trajectory of interest rates hikes beyond July, yet again. And at the close, the FTSE was down 0.32% at 1,007,256. DAX up 0.45 at 15,598. At 4:45, the Dow Jones was down 0.14% at 33,874. S&P up 0.05 at 5004,413. Nasdaq 13,718 up 0.29. Exchange rates, the pound against the US dollar is 1.283 and against the euro at 1.171. Commodities market, gold at 1.929. That's up 1.03%. And Brent is also up at 1.61% at 77.66 US dollars.
You've got an investment plan?
Yeah, Mike set it up.
But don't you need loads of money to do that?
Not this one. It's called Shearwater from Ramsey and you pay in monthly as little as £100. So it's like saving regularly, really helping us invest in the future. For a house, or the kids' education.
£100 a month? I could easily do that.
You should. The sooner you start, the better.
Invest in your future with as little as £100 a month. Shearwater from Ramsey, the island's investment specialist for 75 years. Call 717171 or visit ramseycrookall.com. Licensed and regulated by the Isle of Man Financial Services Authority.
Isle of Man Water Sports. Weather with Manx Glass and Glazing.
So let's have a look. If you're heading out onto the water or into the water, the sea temperature will be around 15 Celsius. And the wind southeasterly 5 or 6, veering south 4 or 5 later in the morning, and then decreasing 3 or 4 in the afternoon. Wave height 1 to 1.5 metres and the wave period 4 to 6 seconds. High tide is at 4 o'clock. On Sunday, the wind south or southeasterly 3 or 4, wave height 0.5 to 1 metre. The wave period 5 to 6 seconds. High tide is at 5 o'clock.
Manx Glass and Glazing can produce bespoke splashbacks for your kitchen in any colours. Speak to the team on 674 573. Update brought to you by Simcox Advocates, advising businesses and families since 1949. Visit simcox.com or call 690 300.
And the time now, 13 minutes to 6. You're listening to Update from Manx Radio. 10 conservation projects aimed at halting biodiversity decline are being launched by the Manx Wildlife Trust. They form part of the Action for Wildlife programme, as it's thought up to 70% of the island's birds and 40% of plants are classified as of conservation concern. Manx Wildlife Trust Conservation Officer is Andre Doubledam.
It is. We have been working on these projects now for a couple of years. Some of them are up and running and some of them are just coming onto line now. But yeah, they're all about trying to stop species going extinct here on the Isle of Man.
How serious is the biodiversity decline on the island?
It's pretty much in line with the UK, which means it's not great. It's not great at all. We are losing a lot of birds. We are losing a lot of wildflowers. We do not know how many insects and other species we're losing because we just simply don't have the data. All we can do is infer from UK data that they are losing the same sorts of levels of birds and plants that we are, and so therefore we're probably losing the same sorts of insects and other things as well.
Now, it's led by Manx Wildlife Trust, the whole programme, but you have numerous partners that have, I suppose, made these initiatives possible.
Yeah, I mean, some of them are corporate partners, so they're the partners who help pay for things. So people like Colas, who have very generously been working with us. Others are specialists, so people like the Manx Back Group, who help us do recording. And others are just individuals, people who have got a passion for helping wildlife.
And what sort of longevity do these programs have? Are they all similar length, or will some be running longer than others?
So that's a really good question. The answer is complex. So some of them will probably be wrapped up within a year or two. We will do our intervention, and there's very little more we can do apart from monitor it. And we'll carry on monitoring these projects, but we won't keep them on as an active Action for Wildlife for effects. Others are virtually ongoing.
Manx Radio Sport.
There's Faster Mai, Rhian Evans.
Faster Mai, good afternoon. Well, the island's junior gymnastics team are continuing to impress at the Inter-Island Games. There's been a clean sweep in the FIG all-around for junior boys. Joshua Clarkson has won himself 5 golds and 1 bronze. Max Kearney won 1 gold and 2 silver. Rory Hughes is bringing home 2 silver and 1 bronze. And Thomas Lamb is bringing home 1 silver medal. Clarkson was crowned all-around champion, followed by Max in silver and Rory in bronze. And in the junior girls FIG, Alex Tier won 1 gold and 1 silver apparatus medal. Lacey Jackson is bringing home 1 gold medal, Holly Watt 1 silver and 1 bronze, and Lily Bossendorfer is bringing home 2 bronze medals. Overall, Alice Tier took the overall silver medal, with Jackson taking the bronze. And the 4th round of the British National Enduro Series are taking place on home soil this weekend. 270 riders are signed up to compete in the 2-day event. Sign-on is at St John's Football Club today from 4 p.m. until 7 p.m. Racing starts at 10 a.m. on both Saturday and Sunday. Cut-off for racing on Saturday is at 3 p.m. and on Sunday it's at 2:30 p.m. Recently, local riders travelled to the UK for rounds 2 and 3 of the British National Enduro Series. 15-year-old Isaac Batty of Orange Bikes placed 2nd in the under-18s, with fellow Manxie Jacob McCanny placing 13th and Josh Kelly coming in 16th in the under-21s, both racing for Bikestyle. Round 3 of the BNES was also the 3rd round of the PMBA series, where Batty came a close 3rd place. Jacob McCanny came in 6th and Josh Kelly took 13th in the under-21 men's. And Sapphire Ashcroft came in 4th in the under-21 women's. And you'll be able to spot all these local riders this weekend as they will be competing in the 2-day Manx MTB Enduro event.
Manx Radio Travel, driven by Quayside Tyres and Service Centre.
And you'll be pleased to know that in the air, there don't seem to be any delays at all. So I won't go through all those at the moment because they all seem to be on time. But looking at the roadworks now, and in Onchan until the 14th of July, the Bigode Road and the Craignabar Back Road will be closed for resurfacing. That's from 9:30 in the morning to 3:30 each day. And also in Onchan until the 17th, temporary lights on Eskdale Road 24 hours a day for work on the pavements, and the Groundwell Road is closed between Harbour Road and Fairway Close for gas upgrade. In Douglas until the 25th, the Tremode Road is closed for excavation work. Ballacameen Road is closed between St Catherine's Drive and Westmoreland Road for resurfacing until the 8th. Well, that's tomorrow, isn't it? And in Douglas until the 21st of August, temporary lights on Victoria Road at the Falcon Cliff Terrace Junction. That's 24 hours a day. Laxey until the 9th, that's the Ballacollister Road, is closed between the Croyterquill and Rensell Hill for resurfacing. So that's some of the traffic news. You can catch up with more of those details here on the Manx Radio website.
H&Hmotorcycles.im for all your motorcycle requirements. Southgate Industrial Estate, opposite Quayside Tyres. Call 665646. Update brought to you by Simcox Advocates.
All eyes may have been on the Manxman this week, but the spotlight will soon shift to another nautical feat in the south of the island tomorrow. The World Tin Bath Championships are taking place in Castletown Harbour at 3 p.m. Starting in 1971, more than £300,000 has been raised for local causes for the event. Cheryl, Boris and Jason from the Castletown Ale Drinkers told Christy de Haven more.
It can be very competitive, but the main thing about it is having a lot of fun about it and getting on with other people and just laughing at other people either sinking or cheer them on as they're getting on. You know.
The age limit is 16 and you have to be able to swim at least 50 metres, which isn't too much
That's
of a
not
problem.
too bad. That's not too bad.
In the 51 years, we haven't lost anybody. We have divers and rescue boats and the Russian ambulances there as well. So we've got it all covered.
And there is a veterans race, Cheryl. I mean, I'm not sure I'd class this as veteran, but...
There is. The age limit has been somewhat under debate whether we call them the veterans, but actually the over 50s do have a special category of their own. There are actual trophies available for our veterans winners. Again, they are quite hotly competed, I think.
Yes, they are.
Boris can tell you.
Steve Taylor won it last year. Team from Peel, the Gobbigs, his team won the team prize as well. And he was first in to enter this year because he's keen to retain the trophy.
I bet.
And the ladies' champion was the mother of Kirsty McNabb, who won the women's
amazing.
Timbath race.
Family effort.
The ladies veteran who her name Sheila McNabb won the veterans ladies Timbath race.
Oh,
as
see,
well.
there you
So
go. You could be you.
a family affair, and the men's was won by Nick Kane, who came out of retirement to win his 4th trophy.
Oh, by the way, the Isle of Man's cricket team is back in action this weekend. The national squad is taking on Austria's national team to help them prep for their World Cup qualifier. And you can find an extended interview in the Friday Sport coming up after the 6 o'clock news. And one more thing. An ex-Ballacameen student's been beaten more than 16,000 other nominees to win an award for outstanding teaching. That's absolutely fantastic. So congratulations to Amy Stimson, recently presented with a Silver Pearson National Teaching Award for her work in special educational needs. Well, that's just about it on Update for this evening. Thanks to newsreader Christian Jones. The producer was Rhian Evans. In a moment, the news at 6. Rob Pritchard is here after that with Friday Sport, and then the greatest hits with Chris Kidley at 6:30. At 9 o'clock, it's time for Sweet and Swing Sounds with Howard Kane, and then rounding off the evening again, Rhian with After Hours. I'll be back with Update on Monday, but for me, Barrie Redfern, have a good evening.